Whenever you create music, you're creating music within a specific context. The nature of the musical context you have created not only depends on the environment in which it was created, but on the genre of music that you are playing. So you can see it gets pretty complicated here. Now, if you're playing jazz guitar in a concert hall in India, you're recontextualizing the music. The same thing goes for playing flamenco guitar in my bedroom in Singapore, or playing Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata at a university masterclass in Argentina. Why are these situations considered out of context? Well, it's because these musics are being performed and consumed in an environment outside of the original context in which they were created. Music in its original context would be, for example, jazz in a jazz club in New Orleans, flamenco in a tablao in Andalusia, and classical guitar in a concert hall in Germany. But at the end of the day, does it really matter? Who cares if you play jazz guitar at a birthday party as opposed to a proper jazz club? I mean, jazz is jazz, after all, as is all other music. Well, as a lay listener, it doesn't really matter all that much. However, as a musician, it matters a whole lot, especially if you are learning that specific musical genre. Now, I know a lot of you listening here are practicing and aspiring musicians, so listen closely. There are 5 domains to develop when learning and practicing any style of music. These domains are technique, repertoire, theory, expression, and values. And I talk about these domains more in my other videos, but for today's discussion, all we need to understand is that in order to truly develop a holistic understanding of any musical style, we need to intentionally study and practice all 5 of these domains. These 5 domains range from the tangible to intangible in the order that they are listed. So, from the most tangible, that's technique, repertoire, followed by theory, expression, and values. So values being the most intangible of these domains. It's very clear to conceptualize what techniques are required in a musical style. You can physically see how it's played. But for repertoire, it's starting to get more intangible, but it's still relatively easy to grasp the various songs and pieces you need to learn. Now for theory, yes, there are some very tangible elements as to, for example, how specific chords are constructed out of specific notes. However, there are also more intangible elements, such as when and where to use certain chords over others. And as we move to expression and finally values, these get increasingly intangible and difficult to put into words. How do you quantify playing a melody in a more joyful or somber way? What are the values governing the creation of flamenco styles? And in what ways did they inform the sound and structure of the music? Now, for example, there's an elusive descriptor of authentic, emotive, and passionate flamenco music called duende. It's hard to explain, and different flamenco players define it differently. Some say it's love, some say it comes from an empathetic connection to the plight of the Andalusian gypsies, and some simply say it comes from a glass of wine. Needless to say, you can't just study how to evoke duende from reading a textbook on flamenco music. You need to cultivate a deep, personal relationship with the context of the music. Now let's talk about how context affects our music making. Music is about human artistic expression, and we can't possibly create meaningful music in a vacuum. The way we articulate each note, each rhythm, each piece, each melody will be and should be affected by our understanding of what the music is, what it communicates, and what it represents. If not, it would be the same as inputting a series of numbers and codes into a computer program and having the machine just churn out a series of sounds that we then label as music. So understanding musical context may not be the first thing that you encounter on your musicianship journey, but it's a crucial part of your development as a musician. It is an intangible factor and one that is often overlooked. And because it's often overlooked, it's what separates a good musician from a brilliant one. Now I hope that this has been enlightening for you. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Is understanding musical context an essential part of being a musician, or one that can simply be bypassed? Now, I look forward to furthering this dialogue with you, and until next time, I will see you again.